As opening night approaches, all the different parts start to come together. To coordinate the different aspects of a play, the last week of rehearsals are referred to as technical rehearsals. Welcome to Tech Week.
The week before Tech Week always sucks because that's the week where I wonder, is this show good? And that's happened every play I've ever been a part of, whether I'm directing, acting, dramaturging, whatever. It gets repetitive. That's the week when, we're seeing everything the same way we've seen it over and over again. And it's hard to remember that it's going to get elevated by the set, by being complete, by the lights, by the sound, the costumes. It's really amazing what a difference it makes, because there is a point where it definitely gets to be like, okay, wait, what are we doing here? What's going on? And then you see it all come together and you're like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing here. This is why we do this. This is beautiful.
Those two big scary words that everyone's like, oh no, Tech Week.
Ooh, Tech Week is very fun. Everyone's always super tired and just stressed out of their minds and trying to make it the best thing they can, and no one ever knows if it's actually going to go together until the day of.
Tech Week is kind of the final call of any given production. It's where all the elements come together. So music, lighting, actors, everything kind of comes together. And it's a little messy at first, but that's what Tech Week is for. It's to iron those things out so you can say like, oh, we actually can't make that scene change. Who can do that? Or, oh, that music cue is actually a little long. Maybe we can cut that a little bit.
Since I've only really been an actor, I don't think I've really truly realized how much work goes on behind the scenes, all these technicians are doing, and I think I've gained an appreciation for it now.
When Tech Week comes, the actors are primarily doing the same thing. They're just running through what they've spent weeks rehearsing at, and so they should have that down. So Tech Week is then we'll bring in lighting and designers, so there's a lot of start and stopping.
Sometimes they're seeing it for the first time, so they're changing the lighting as you're up there, or changing the sound design to fit different tempos or loudness. It's an interesting experience because everything's changing as you're doing it. It's more about the tech people than the actors. Of course, it's a good experience for the actors to run through it again, but it's a lot of, do a line, stop, do the same line with this lighting, stop, do the same line with this orchestral backing a little louder or a little softer. So it's a lot more stop and go, which can lead to, long nights, but a lot easier nights in my opinion.
It's a lot of stop and go for the actors, but it really helps the backstage crew and stage managers learn where those cues line up and to work with lighting and sound.
It can be a lot. It's usually very slow and very intentional, and ideally you don't want to rush it because that's where kind of all the magic is built so that it can happen for shows.
We're finalizing props. It's the first time we try on costumes.
Which makes a big difference on stage. Different shoes can affect how you're walking, different clothes can affect your mobility on stage. Like when I was in Sleepy Hollow, I basically wore a metal suit kind of underneath my clothing that was kind of a rig for being headless. So it changed a lot of how my blocking went when I'm wearing kind of a metal cage. I can't do rolls and flips as well as I would have, so I kind of had to change roles with different people, and it kind of affects how you block a lot of the times.
From a costuming perspective, Tech Week is usually making sure the garment is actually finished. Emily likes to make a very large distinction between wearable and finished. One of the biggest memes almost that come out of the costume shop is the phrase, "done is beautiful," just because we're always scrambling, and as long as the garment is finished, then it's good to go.
People have different philosophies over Tech Week. I like to be a little more stressed before Tech Week, and then kind of try to take it as easy as possible during Tech Week. Some people look at that very differently. There's a lot of other designers that I worked with that they want the sort of experience of being in the space with the design ensemble, with the actors, with the director, with everything, and kind of just have your building blocks and build it during Tech with everything. And you can see the, potential creative advantage of that. I have a difficulty operating under those circumstances. I like to come in day one being as ready as possible and then make smaller adjustments. It doesn't always work, but that's just how I feel most comfortable.
I'm used to having, maybe a couple days of cue to cue, building looks and working with the director as the actors move around, the set pieces move. You build the looks kind of as you're seeing it very slowly, right? And be ready. The other thing is you don't want to wait until Tech Week to realize, oh, I didn't know you needed a zone in the back on the bridge. I could do that tonight at midnight when I go up on the lift, and I can make that zone happen, and then I can, patch it. That's too late. You don't want to wait to build something like that until Tech Week.
Tech Week survival is lots of coffee. Drink a lot of coffee. Bring people coffee on First Tech. Bringing people coffee wins you a lot of favors during Tech Week because everyone hates each other and we're all cranky. So if you're the one who brings coffee, people are less cranky at you. Pro tip.
Tech Week is crazy, especially this Tech Week, just because there are so many technical elements to this show. There's projection, there's sound. 90% of the show is underscored with music and lots of really cool lighting effects too. So Tech Week was very tech heavy for this show.
And so this past week, we've been trying to put all of that together with what we've been working on. And so for us, we were coming in saying, okay, we have this dance we made. Does it go with the music? And so I think that's been a really unique process this past week. Been a few late nights in there just because, of the nature of the show. There's so much going on with the tech in the show, which is what makes it so powerful, I think, too, when all of that comes together.
Full runs, and that's kind of where everything kind of knits together in these kind of bigger productions. That's where all the elements kind of align and you kind of feel like you're ready to put on a show.
As of Thursday, I did the last tweaking and programming, and then I just cleaned my hands, and it's like, okay, now the show can run. Last night was opening night.
That's about all I have to say about Tech Week.